just seeing my dad's dead body, and now I'm chucking dirt into this hole in a graveyard. I remember getting the shovel, and I'm the only one doing it, and I'm shoveling this dirt in, and I'm looking down in this grave, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I can still smell the dirt, like the mud. I can still smell it. One of my uncles had said to me, you can't be seen to cry, you can't be seen to show emotion, you're the man in the house now. The fuck does that mean at 15? Don't cry, because if you cry, you're gonna set your mum and your sisters off. So I had that as I'm shoveling the dirt.
Did you feel like crying?
Absolutely. Every fiber in me was like terrified. How else am I supposed to communicate if I can't even get this out? People always want the glamour. What does it look like? Oh my God, it's incredible, incredible. But yo, the lead up to that, man, was work. Idris walks in and he says, me and Sabrina were talking, and we would just love you to do part of our wedding. People don't realize the dedication, focus, everything that goes into being something great, the sacrifices. People don't see that. A lot of the stuff that stops men from being emotionally mature, and it's not even their stuff to begin with. It's stuff that's been thrust upon them by society, by their peers, by the culture, by tradition. You're a man, you're supposed to this, that. You can't be seen to have emotion, you can't be seen to cry, you can't be seen to show that. Fucking bullshit. The quicker you get through that is the quicker you get to the best parts of your life.
Every man carries something. Expectations, silence, struggles, the weight of having to look unbreakable. The Dad Project is a home for real, unfiltered conversations on men's mental health, the kind that have been missing for far too long. We share powerful stories and raw perspectives from those living it and those guiding men through it. Filmed at the Old Court in Windsor, it's about breaking silence, reshaping strength, and creating conversations that actually matter. I'm your host, Naroop Juti. Let's talk. Before we start, let me take 30 seconds and speak to you directly. This podcast exists to share real stories, honest conversations that inspire growth, self-belief, and meaningful change. If you get value from these episodes, following or subscribing is the easiest way to support what we're building here. It helps this reach more people who appreciate authentic conversation, and it allows us to keep creating stories like this. All right, thank you for being here. Now, into the episode. So King, what is the story people don't see when they hear that you're Idris Elba's private chef?
The story, that's an interesting question. The story people don't see is what led me to get to that stage where Idris Elba asked me to come on board and, be chef. And that story is entrenched with a lot. It comes with a lot. It's an interesting story. And, people always want the glamour. What does it look like? Oh my God, it's incredible, incredible. But yo, the lead up to that, man, it's work. It's work. That's what people don't see, the hard work. People don't realize the dedication, the focus, the everything that goes into being something great, the sacrifices that take. People don't see that.
Did you ever think when you were a young man that you'd be cooking food for people that we see in movies?
Absolutely not. You could never have told me, even that we can go back 10 years, you could never have told me that.
Why? Yeah. Why would you not believe?
Because it's not, okay, I could say this. I didn't set out to be a chef, all right? Especially not a chef at this level. I didn't set out. Food was something that, for me, just I love to do. It just was, like, I like to eat. So I was like, I need to learn how to cook if you're going to eat. So I think for me, it just never dawned on me, you can turn this into a profession. So it kind of found me. Yeah, food was always there. It's in our culture, it's traditions, it's what we do as Nigerian, that's what we do. So for me, it just was a side hustle, and then here we are. Here we are.
You told me when you were younger, one of your earliest memories of food and cooking was seeing your dad make breakfast on a Sunday. Yeah. And you were this sat there looking at him thinking, this
In
is
awe.
crazy.
In awe, yeah.
Why would that memory of, like, he was cooking a fire? Like, why was it so powerful for you?
I'll tell you why it was powerful, because my dad was a typical Nigerian man. He did not get in the kitchen. That kitchen was not a thing Nigerian men did, right? Nigerian men get waited on hand and foot. You know, the wife comes with a bowl of water and the lemon, and they wash their hands with the cloth, and it's a ritual, right? So men don't go in the kitchen, right? So for me, and I'm one of 5, I'm one of 5, and I'm the only boy. I was a daddy's boy. Wherever my dad went, I was a shadow, you know. God rest his soul. And I wanted to do whatever he did. So every now and again, he would just get up. And I'm talking, I probably saw this twice in my lifetime. It wasn't a regular thing. And the one time it stood out was, got in the kitchen, and I remember he just did a big traditional, like English breakfast, not anything crazy, but it just was, he knew what he was doing, and he just got everything together. And it was just fascinating to see him crack the eggs into the pan and, you know, whisk them up and, you know, chop up the onions and whatever, and then the tomatoes. And I remember he taught me how to fry an egg, where you chuck the oil over the egg yolk. And to this day, I still don't like that. But it just was an aesthetic. I remember watching him doing, and I see the egg transform, you know, it has that layer over it once you chuck the oil over it. For me, that just was fascinating. I just stood back in awe. And that is one of the earliest memories I have of wanting to cook.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that didn't lead you to, like, jump into culinary school, did it? Your life,
No.
as a child, was challenging.
It was. You know, our family had a lot of ups and downs growing up. You know, we moved house God knows how many times. Yeah, I've lost count how many times in my early teenage years. So no, cooking wasn't, like I said earlier on, cooking wasn't a thing where I thought, oh, this is going to be a career. And look, I'm Nigerian. In a Nigerian household, academics comes first. There's no such thing as culinary arts or, you know, art. What do you mean art? Art, care? No, that's not a thing in our community. It's education, education, education. I was naturally gifted with intellect. I was an A student. Didn't really have to study, if I'm honest with you. It came to me naturally, so I could go in and, you know, go to school and I'd get A's. So that was my trajectory, the typical standard, you know, go to school, get good grades, pass your GCSEs, pass your A levels, go into university. That was the trajectory. So the food wasn't, the food thing didn't come till probably I was like 28 or, yeah, it just wasn't even on my peripheral like that.
You shared something really powerful with me when we had our call, which was about your father passing away.
Yeah.
And you shared it with me, and you just kind of almost cited it like this year, then this happened, then I did this. But it sat with me for so long. And I didn't dive deep into it because I was trying to understand your life story. But talk to me about his funeral, man, because, gosh, I put myself in your position and I was like, what a thing to happen for a child.
Yeah. So I was 15 when my dad passed. It's January. He passed January 11th, 1998, right? And then, you know, we buried him January 30th, 1998. I'd never been to a funeral before. I'd never seen a dead body before. I had no idea what to expect. I remember the morning of the funeral. This is so poignant in my mind's eye. I remember my room was at the front. This house we were in, we'd moved there. So let me just back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So my dad was ill. He had a brain hemorrhage, and 2 years before he died, and then he eventually died of complications, bronchopneumonia. So those 2 years he suffered. He was in and out of hospital. It got to a point where my mum couldn't care for him. Obviously, there was all of us as well. It became too much for her, so he had to go into assisted living care, whatever you want to call it. So those 2 years were very difficult, and our family then moved. We had to move home again. What was supposed to happen is he was supposed to come home to this house. We had a house that was designed for his disability. So it had a stair lift and all that sort of stuff and railings everywhere. He didn't make it. He didn't make it to that house. The last time I saw my dad was just before Christmas in 1997. That day, so I want to go back to the house we were in. So I remember that house, particular house. My bedroom was at the front of the house, so I had the front window, and I remember everyone was scrambling around the house and everyone was getting ready, and I remember putting on this horrible suit. It was from like River Island, horrible suit, polyester, and I had these like fake black Patrick Cocks as well. I thought I was the shit, but yeah. Anyway, I had this blue tie on, this blue shirt. I remember putting on a suit and then looking out the window and I seeing the hearse. And we lived on a cul-de-sac. I remember seeing the hearse come round and my heart just sunk. But at the same time, there was a ray of light that came through the window. And I remember standing there and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what's this feeling? So I thought, all right, just get on with it. Just carry on. I remember getting to the church and the pallbearers saying to me, you've got to walk ahead of the coffin. And I'm 15, what the fuck do you mean I got to walk there? What do you mean? Like, it's overwhelming. And I've got mum, there's all my sisters, and the church is packed, it's heaving, right? My dad knew a lot of people. And so I remember walking in front of the coffin and just being terrified. I remember being shaking, just terrified. So anyway, the service commences, and then, at the end of the service, they view the body. And I remember shitting myself. I remember shaking because I hadn't seen my dad since I saw him alive, which was now, maybe a month or so. So I remember coming up to the coffin and I remember seeing his shoes first. And as I came up, it was in slow motion. I remember walking up and we buried him in this beautiful light grey suit. And my mum asked me to pick it out. Because I don't want to bury him in black. I was like, black is so morbid. Like, it's just like, who wants that? When we put him in this light grey suit, and my dad used to wear glasses as well. And we put his glasses in his top pocket. My dad was very smart. Like, that's how he dressed in life. He was always, Mr. Anekami was very smart and poised, shoes, iron, shirts, everything, right? So we put his glasses in his top pocket and a pen as well. And I remember coming up and then seeing the detail. I remember seeing his shoes first, and then seeing the handkerchief in the pocket. And then I came up and I looked in and I did not like what I saw. I had never seen a dead body before. First of all, it didn't even look like him. I was like, the fuck is this? Like, what is, and he, they shrink. And it just wasn't him. But something in me was just like, all right, he's there somewhere. You're not going to see him again. So you're going to have to touch him. I remember picking up his hand and it was like lead. It just went doof. I remember on the thud, it just was like lead. And I just was like, oh wow, this is weird. So then we get past that. And I remember the pallbearers securing the casket lid, and they use this power screwdriver, and you hear it. And I remember shuddering because I was like, that's final, like, that's it. So when we get to the cemetery, and I think this is the part where, to me, to this day, is still heavy. As the only son, we bury our own, right, in our community, West African, Nigerian community, we bury our own. So all the men have to shovel the dirt into the grave. And I remember being given the shovel by someone, I don't know who it was, and was just told to shovel the dirt in this grave. And I mean, it was this huge mound of dirt. And I remember getting the shovel, and I'm the only one doing it, and I'm shoveling this dirt in, and I'm looking down at this grave, and I'm just like, what the fuck? This is crazy. And I remember in that part saying to myself, don't break, because one of my uncles had said to me, prior to the funeral, You can't be seen to cry. You can't be seen to show emotion. You're the man in the house now. What the fuck does that mean at 15? What do you mean the man in the house? Like, what do you mean? Don't cry, because if you cry, you're going to set your mum and your sisters off. So you can't be seen to cry. So I had that as I'm shoveling the dirt.
Did you feel like crying?
Absolutely. Every fiber in me was like terrified. I was more terrified than anything, right? Just seeing my dad's dead body, and now I'm chucking dirt into this hole in a graveyard. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's all confusing and it's scary.
It didn't feel real.
It felt surreal. Honestly, it didn't feel real. It felt like I can still smell the dirt, like the mud. I can still smell it. Yeah, honestly, it was real, obviously, but at the time you're doing it, I'm 15. I don't know anything. You don't know anything. What I know now, I look back and think, God, I was a baby. I was a little boy, scared little boy, and didn't have no guidance. There was no one to tell you what to expect, no one to tell you how to conduct yourself per se, or what emotions were. No one to guide me through what that feels like, or this is what it's going to look like when you look into the coffin, or this is what it's going to look like when you're at the gravesite. I'd never been to a funeral before. So all of that mixed into, you know, the emotion of being a teenager, right? Going through puberty, just the average everyday crap you're going through. You throw all that into the mix and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Is it still normal in Nigerian culture for men to not show any emotion at funerals? Is that still the same?
I think in any culture, it's men don't get the okay to be emotionally available, to show emotion. I think, okay, it's somewhat shifting now, but I still think men are not supposed to show emotion. This is what I see in society. Men are not, they're the providers. They are the caretakers, physical and otherwise. You're supposed to be there for every other facet, but to be emotionally available for yourself, which I think is wrong. And I think that's across cultures.
Do you think you can cry and still provide?
Absolutely. I think being in tune with your emotions is healthy. It's understanding what these emotions are and not shying away from them. It's actually delving into them so you can go through it and see, what does this feel like? What does this mean when that happens? Oh, I can navigate by doing that and then I can get over it. Okay, you don't know that until you go through it. Do you understand?
So that smell of mud,
Yeah.
you can still, I mean, burying your father is hard. In our culture, week from 8.
Okay.
And so when I lost my grandfather, I was 30. I had all 4 of my grandparents alive till I was 30. So I'm very blessed. And then when he died, again, first dead body I'd really seen was someone super close. Same thing, man. Hand felt heavy. Couldn't recognize him. And
It's not a good.
you put him into the furnace, and then when it caught fire,
You saw that?
it's just. It took me a good 6-7 months.
Yeah.
Just to understand, what does it mean when someone who you've, like your grandfather was your second dad, right?
Right.
So he's not here, right? So what does that mean now?
What does it mean?
What does it?
What is emptiness?
For you to then be thrust into this position of being a man of the house. Like, what does it mean to be a man of the house, right?
Yeah.
I know that was quite formative for you because you didn't quite know how to process it, and certain parts of your life, especially your academics, did suffer, right?
I think what was interesting is being told you're the man of the house now, right? At 15. Your dad's just died. You're the man of the house now. It's your mum. There's your 3 sisters in the household. And I have an older sister from my dad's side, which we didn't, at the time, we weren't in communication with. Being told all of that and then told not to cry, not to show emotion, not to do all that. It's heavy. That is like, what do you mean? Like, how else am I supposed to feel in this? How else am I supposed to communicate if I can't even get this out? Do you understand? It's ludicrous to even think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was it that you would say then caused you to, in your own words, start Like drifting through life.
So I think not being able to communicate or even talk about how I felt afterwards. And I'll give you a story as well. There was a really good family friend of ours, God rest her soul, named Dolores. She died last year. She was a great influence in my life. I want to say that. Like, in fact, she's she's responsible for some of the phrases that I say to this day. I'll get into that in a minute. But I remember she was driving past me one day, and she said she saw me with my head down. I might have been going to school or whatever. She said that she saw me. I was walking. I had my head down, and she didn't stop. She just watched me, and she was like, "Yeah, he's going through it." When I look back and hearing that in hindsight, I'm like, no one intervened. No one asked me, "Am I all right? How do I feel? What do you feel?" There was no aftercare. There was nothing. It's just get on with it. And I think that was really detrimental in terms of mourning, starting the mourning process, grieving, and just general welfare, right, of a young black guy, a young black boy. Yes, I was academic. Yes, I was of a certain intellect, and I think that was taken for granted by my family. I've always been more mature at that stage. I'd always been more mature than I looked. So I kind of automatically was given that role, just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? I was, oh, it's King, he's all right, he can handle it. So yes, I could handle it, but the other areas start to, you know, be affected. So I did my GCSEs, and I remember one of the teachers was head of the maths department. Her name was Miss Brady. And she said to me, she pulled me to one side after class. She said, "King, now we are aware of what's happened in your family. Would you like us to take this into consideration for your GCSEs?" I said, "Absolutely not. There is no way I'm going to let you use that as an excuse. Because number one, my dad wouldn't allow me to." And even when I look back now and saying that to myself, saying that at that age, 14, 15, the strength to say that with conviction and not really even understanding why I'm saying it, because it built in you to just get on with things, and maybe it's cultural, maybe it's traditional, I don't know. It's just built in you. Just get on with it. Don't use these things as an excuse. Blah 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 blah. When I look back now, I'm like, shit. Like, how did I even formalize that? How did I even take that on board to verbalize that?
What do you think it was?
I think it probably was my defense. Part of it is my defense mechanism. Yes, I know what's going on. I don't really understand it, so I don't really want to talk about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just like, yep, cool, skip over it, next, all right? And I think that, coupled with you're the man in the house, all of that stuff, it's compound. All of that compounds. So you don't know what to do with that. You just like, all right, let me not deal with it because I'm not dealing with all this other shit. So I can't deal with that. So just skip over it. So I did my GCSEs. I remember the day I got my results, came in the post, and I got 2 A's, 3 B's, and 4 C's. I was devastated. I remember opening the letter. My mum was standing there, and it was a beautiful sunny morning. And the letter came, and I was anticipating it, and I was excited. And I opened it. My mum was standing next to me, and I told her the results. And she was like, "God, your dad would be really proud." And in my head, I was like, "Yeah, but I could have done it. I could have done a lot better." So yes, academics did fail. Not fail. Academics were affected by what happened. But at the time, I didn't just go on with it. It just was a case of, oh, whatever. But clearly it did. Clearly it did. I was always an A student. So for me to get C's was like, what the fuck is this? Do you know what I mean? And that was without even trying. So I think for me, once that happened, I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And then I went on to college, and I think that's when it kind of went downhill for me. But I think by the time I got to college, I had a zero fucks attitude, because my family environment was really fragmented, right? In so many different ways that I don't think I could cope, right? If I look back now, I can look at I wasn't coping. And
What were you going through? What was the challenge?
all right, I'll tell you what the challenge was. So in our community, when a man dies, the rest of the men in the community rally around and help the family, help the mother, if they've got children, help the family, financially and otherwise. Okay. Now that's cultural. So we had an uncle come in and kind of assume the role, the male role in the family, and he would, come in every now and again. Now, traditionally, that's what happens. No one explained that to me. So I just see this man come in, and all of a sudden he's there. He's there with mum, he's there, he's always around the house, he's buying stuff and, paying for this, paying for that. And I'm like, okay, no one really explained that. So I'm looking at him like, my dad's just died. And now this guy's, who the fuck is this? No one explained that. So I've got conflict with that. I've got internal conflict with that. I then clash with my mum because in her community where she's growing up, this is normal. But I live in the UK, I've born and raised there, no one's explained this.
What was it? It was the sense that you're trying to replace my dad, or was
I
mum
think
could be with someone else?
I think at the age, again, looking back in hindsight, I think at the age you think, yes, he's coming to replace my dad. And I'm like, how dare you? How fucking dare you try and take, especially when my dad was saying you were like good best friends with my dad and we see you all around. And now all of a sudden you're here, and what the fuck? Like, it was confusing for me. Okay. And, like I said, he would provide whatever. So me and my mum clashed to the point where I was like, fuck everything. You know what? Fuck education, fuck all that. So I not stopped going to college, but I bunked off college a lot. And so much so, I remember I failed. I failed my art A level. I got an ungraded, right? And don't get me wrong, I loved art. I was fantastic at it. And the history part, particularly, the stories behind a lot of the artists were incredible. And I had this art teacher, her name was Diana Wellham. And she said to me, King, I just want to say, you actually failed your art A level. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But she was like, but your written paper was written so beautifully and articulately. That's what gave you your E. She said, you were ungraded, but your written paper gave you this E. She said it's fantastic. And I was like, yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me that. Without being arrogant, I just was like, yeah, I just didn't give a shit. I just did not give a shit. So my academics did suffer going into, college. And then was the clearing thing, because I got 2 C's and an E for my A levels. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything with this. I didn't care at that time, right? I just was like, all right, whatever. But then you got friends going off to university and they're going through clearing. So I remember being there and thinking to myself, oh shit, what the fuck? What am I going to do? And I was like, all right, so let me see if I can work with these results. So I said to myself, all right, let me go through clearing. Let me see. All my friends were going to these incredible universities. There was Brunel, there was, University of Durham. There were all these fantastic universities. And I was like, oh, I feel left out. I'm the only one. And I'm the academic. It's like, what do you mean? So I applied for clearing. I applied to Brunel for an engineering management degree. And I got accepted based off of my extracurricular activities. Because I'd just done the Prince's Trust course as well. Yeah, so went to Brunel, knew fuck all about engineering. I lasted 6 weeks and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. So I dropped out of Brunel and then I applied for a few jobs. Do you remember the company Kodak?
Yeah.
The photograph. So I worked for them for a while. And then my sister was working for London Underground. Then she's like, they're recruiting. I was like, oh, all right, let me go. I'm 18 now. So I was like, all right, let me. So I applied as a station assistant. I didn't get it on the first round, and I was gutted. So I reapplied, got it on the second round, and started there. Started at Green Park Station as a station assistant. Hated every minute of it. I fucking hated that job. The way the public treated you, like you're a piece of shit, piece of chewing gum on the floor. And the uniform was so heavy, you had to wear all the radio and the hat. It just was a lot. And it was so hot down there as well. I hated that job. And then I laugh because this is actually quite crazy story. I got assaulted when I was on my break outside the station. This guy came up and clearly he wasn't the full ticket and assaulted me with a wine bottle. Needless to say, I tackled him. We won't go into that. And after that, I had to think long and hard about my trajectory, and I was like, okay, this is probably not suited for me. So I thought, all right, I need to look at going back to academics. So I went back and I tried to figure out what I wanted to do. And the food thing wasn't quite there yet. The food thing wasn't a fully fleshed out idea yet. And I was like, well, look, I love music. I love business. Let's try and combine the two. So I found this degree, it was music industry management, and it was at Buckinghamshire Chilterns University College in High Wycombe. So I applied, I got in, did the degree. I got bored towards the end. It just wasn't for me towards the end. Anyway, I graduated, and then I was still working part-time for London Underground, Saturdays, Sundays. I graduated and I was like, all right, music industry job, or do I stay in London Underground where the salaries are already great, and if I go full-time, I'm already up there. So I went for this. I went for the Underground. That same year, train driver's job came out. So my salary went from like 26k to 38k. I'm 23 now, right? And I was like, oh, this is a nice jump. And I was like, all right, we can do this money. So I bought a flat. And then I guess we can skip forward a few years. I'm cooking, doing family events, friends events, and everyone's like, you got something here, like you should think about this. And I was like, we'll see. Anyway, I had this idea. I did a friends and family, what's the word? A friends and family kind of critique day. So it's like a Sunday, called about 30 people around, and I had this questionnaire. And I did everything. I did grilled chicken. At this time, I used to love Caribbean food, right? That used to be my forte. So I think I did jerk chicken, I did rice and peas, coleslaw, I did everything, right? And I had a score sheet from 1 to 10, 1 being bad, 10 being great. Score it, needless to say, it was more on the 10 side. So I was like, all right, we got something here. And I was like, okay, let me turn this into something. So I made these little business cards, and it was called the Grill King. So I went around, handing these cards out. When I just started doing small jobs here and there, and traction started picking up, and I was like, okay, there's something here, right? And then where I lived at the time, in Northwest London, Park Royal, it's all industrial. A lot of warehouses, a lot of workers. And I looked at this area and I was like, well, look, you live right bang in the center of all of this. You've got all of these businesses and nowhere for people to get lunch. So alarm bell started ringing. I was like, we'll just do a lunchtime delivery service. So I remember getting together this menu. I think I had 3 things on it. I had a jerk chicken. I think I had an oxtail and a fish dish and sides and stuff. And then I went out, I gave samples out. The next day, the phone started ringing. The phone just was ringing off the hook. And I was like, all right, this is something. So I bought a little moped, little red moped, called her Mary Jane. Love that moped. I had a heated back box. I sprayed black. I thought I was the shit. Man. And started this delivery service. So I called it KK's at the time, King's Kitchen. And I'm doing this alongside being a train driver. So I'm doing this in lunchtime. I'm driving the trains in the evening. And with the trains, you could pick and choose the shifts you wanted to do. So I was like, okay, we can split it. I can do the trains in the evening, do this in the day. So everything was going well. And then it got to a point where I was so tired, I hit a red signal. And this is the time when the train was manual. I'm talking way back when. And I hit a red signal. The funny thing is, when I hit the red signal, I was slowing down. I hit it at 5 miles an hour. So I was responding to the signal, but I was an autopilot. I was so tired. When they downloaded the train, the manager was like, but you were slowing down. How did you hit the signal? And he was like, yeah, you must have been an autopilot. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I've got to weigh up. I can't do the two. And at the time, train driver's salary was great. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me just stick with this. Let me put the food stuff on the back burner. But we've got something. So we fast forward a few years later, and I'm like, all right, let me give this another shot. But this time, if I'm gonna do it, let me do it properly. I need to get some professional take on this. So I had a friend who had a couple of gastropubs, one in Hampstead called the Duke of Hamilton, one in Islington called the Barnsbury. And he used to let me come on the weekends down to the Duke of Hamilton and do barbecues. They were so successful. And this is like 2010 to maybe 2012. Every weekend, barbecue sold out. Fantastic. And he was like, look, this is great. Why don't you let me train you up properly? Come to my other gastropub, train you up properly. And I was like, I don't know if that's what I want, man. Like, I don't know. But I said, yeah, cool, do it anyway. So I went over to the Barnsbury, and there was a chef there, executive chef. His name was Ivan. He was Slovakian, and he was an arsehole. He was a big arsehole. I think he felt threatened by me, for whatever reason. I wasn't there to take his job. I didn't care about it. I was just there to learn. And we had an argument one day in the kitchen, and I walked out and I was like, I'm not going back there. I was like, I don't care what you're paying me, I'm not going back there. So I'd gone part-time on the trains, and I went full-time. So I was working 7 days a week. And I took a step back and I was like, yeah, I knew it wasn't for me. That's not what I wanted to do. So I was like, King, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it for yourself. So that's when I decided to transform that into my catering company, which is called King's Kitchen. So I had that. Early stages was 2008. When I really took it seriously was 2012, 2013. And I did that for up to 2020. Up to 2020.
This is when
Yeah.
you had this chance encounter at the airport, right?
Right. So that's a little bit later.
Because this is what has led,
Yeah.
I guess, starts you down this path of
Yeah.
where you are now.
Yeah. So we skip forward to 2018. I'm going to New York for a friend's birthday. It's like a long weekend. And I'm flying with a friend of mine. It's her birthday, but we're going to meet friends. We've got friends in New York already. So I used to follow this chef on social media. Very similar style type of cooking to what I was doing. Same sort of, background. He's black, similar age, similar concept. And I was like, yo, this guy's dope. I love what he's doing. I would love to do something like this one day. Like, it was an inspiration. And I said, if I ever get the chance to meet him, yeah. So flying to New York, I'm in the Virgin Lounge, Terminal 3. This guy walks past me. And I'd seen on social media that he was in London, but I'm like, yo, he's just walked past me. I was like, I have to introduce myself. So I went up, introduced myself. Turns out we're on the same flight to New York, all right? So we land in New York. He goes off. He gives us comp to like a restaurant, and he was that guy. We had a great time, and he was like, look, I'm coming back to London. This was October 2018. He's like, I'm coming back to London in November. I'm doing a job for Idris Elba. I'm gonna need some help. I was like, yeah, call me. Didn't think he was gonna call me, just celebrity chef. I'm thinking he's just chatting shit.
Were you like excited by the opportunity of
course, come on, that's an opportunity of a lifetime. Like, to actually say it, but then to actually do it is two different things, right? So a month later, he calls me, and I was like, yo, let's do it. And at the time, very nervous, yeah. But at the time, I had my catering company, so I had a service kitchen. So I was like, look, I've got everything here. I've got all the equipment. I've got, what do you need? Let's go. And so we went and did the job. And I met the Elbas, lovely, really just lovely people.
Well,
Yeah.
you skipped over, met the Elbas.
Okay, go on.
So
Go on.
what was it like? You walk in, Idris is there. And obviously, were you a fan?
Was I a fan? I don't think fan is the word. I think I admired him.
Admired him.
I admired his craft, admired his skill. You know, I knew he was that guy. Yeah.
But now here you're cooking steak and you in front of like
Yeah. That's a
stars, right?
big deal. That's a big deal.
Was
Yeah.
there like a little pat on your back moment?
You know what? I took a picture of myself because I was like, I want to remember this moment, right? And I remember at the end of that shift, I sat on the kitchen counter and I took a selfie of myself. I was like, yeah, you did this. Right? So I got it somewhere. I'll share it with you. And that was my moment to realize, look, you're here. You said you wanted to do this, cook for, you know, whoever and whatever. Shit, you've just done it. So much so, we did such a great job. They invited us to their home the next day because they were having, I think it was like a Thanksgiving dinner, and they wanted us to cater it. So we went, did a bang up job. What was interesting about that was I started sensing some energy from the chef, right? And I'm like,
This is the chef that you met in the airport.
this is the chef who I've met in the airport who's called me to do this job, right? I started sensing this energy and I'm like, am I imagining this shit? Like, it's weird energy. Like, it's like, this guy don't want me to be here. Like, what's going on? So I remember it was Thanksgiving, right? You know, American, they have like cornbread and collard greens. Like, I know nothing about this food, right? I'm taking his lead. So I'm under his watchful eye. So he's like, make some cornbread. So I was like, okay, no problem. But do you have a recipe that you'd like me to follow? Because this is your show. I'm just here to help you out. Just figure it out. Okay. So I figured it out. I made these banging cornbread. Let me tell you something. These cornbread muffins were singing when they came out of the oven, right? And I remember putting them out, put some butter on it as well, right? And then they were fresh out of the oven. So then some of the guests are eating it and I can hear them talking about, oh my God, like, these are incredible. Who made these? And I'm like, yeah, this is something.
Yeah.
But obviously this chef hears and he's like, for some reason, he was like, yeah, I'm not. Then he comes up with this, I guess some glaze that he had made and tries to put them on top of that. No, they're fine as they are. They're enjoying them as they are. So much so I had to go and make more, right?
But is this common in the culinary world? Because, you know, we know how many chefs suffer from mental health. We know that
Yeah.
suicide was in the hospitality
Look.
industry. Is there this rivalry? Is that quite common?
Yes, there is rivalry, but let me tell you, it shouldn't make you treat people like shit. Do you understand? Being competitive is part of anything that we do in life, right? It's just a natural human condition to be competitive, of course. But to be nasty to people whilst being competitive is no room for that. In my kitchen, there's no room for that. And that's only insecurity. So when you see someone do that, it screams shit, insecurity, right? But that's got nothing to do with me. So I was ready to leave. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was ready to leave. I was like, this shit for me. Like, what the fuck? I didn't come here for this. This is not why I came here to help. And so that was that. Anyway, something happened, right? I don't want to go into that. Something happened and it led me to just take over the situation. So I just took over. We finished up, we cleaned down and went about our business. So a couple months later, I get a phone call. Idris's people have been trying to get hold of you. He'd like you to come and do some work for him. Are you available? This is February 28th, 2019 now.
So it just now wanted you to start doing personal work.
Right. So I get a phone call. I've been trying to get hold of you. So I was like, oh, okay. So I go over, I do this job, and it's a week-long job. Incredible job with like Slick Rick. Well, Slick Rick was part of this camp. So anyway, on that particular job, to my surprise, Idris walks in and he says, me and Sabrina were talking and we would just love you to do part of our wedding. And I'm like, who, me?
Mm.
He's like, yeah, we were discussing it. We just would love you to do part of our wedding. It's like, right. I said, well, what about, they were like, no, we want you to do it. And I was like, okay. And he's like, it's in Morocco, it's this amount of people. And I'm like, okay. So I'm there and I'm just like, what the do you mean you want me to fucking do your wedding? Like, what do you mean? And he's like, don't worry, Sabrina will call you tomorrow. She'll go through all the details. She calls me the following day. She gives me the details. And I'm sitting there after this call. I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? It's like, what do you mean I'm now doing their wedding in Morocco?
Were you prepared to do a wedding like that? Is that
Okay, cool. So I was prepared on the scale because it was like 200 odd people, 250 people. We were already catering on that scale in my business for corporate. So that wasn't the issue. I wanted to call it an issue, but my fear at the time was, I've never worked with celebrities before, especially on this scale. I'm doing a wedding.
So there were lots of other celebrities there. Everybody.
Call them, they were all there, right? I think it was Vogue had taken the reins on it. So it was a whole Vogue thing. So there was everyone there, right? And it was in Morocco. And it was like over 3 nights in different venues. It was fabulous and 5-star. It was opulent, right? As you can imagine. And I'm walking into this. I'm thinking to myself, well, how the fuck do I know about this? Yeah, I can do catering. Volume-wise, it's cool. But I was like, okay, I don't know anything about doing a wedding of this scale. So I had to tap into all my resources. I had a good friend, shout out Natty, big up yourself, Natty. He introduced me to a celebrity wedding planner. Had a great meeting with her, and she said, "This is what you need to do." She gave me the blueprint. I was like, "Oh, thank God, brilliant."
What would happen if you hadn't met her?
I hate to think. Honestly, I'd hate to think. I would have figured it out.
Do you think you would have? Yeah, you'd have.
I would have figured it out.
You wouldn't have backed away.
Absolutely not. I'm all about accept the challenge.
Where does that come from?
Figure out how to do it after. I feel that's ingrained in me. I don't know where honestly, I don't know where that's come from. I love a challenge. I love something that's going to stretch me mentally, give me a challenge. Because after you've done that challenge, you've got that under your belt now, right? You've got that. And there's going to be bigger challenges after, right? Or I should hope so. Bring it on. I'm like, just let's see how far we can go, right?
Is that important to you?
Super important.
Why?
I think because that's how you grow. Otherwise, you don't evolve. You just stay sedentary. And that I don't want to do that. Who wants to do that? What's the point of life?
Was this like a sense of validation for you that you've got this wedding?
Absolutely. Man, it was a sense of validation on so many levels, professionally, emotionally, intellectually, in terms of visibility as well. It was levels. There were so many levels to it because I think at the time, even though my business was successful, my catering company was successful, there were problems. I had a business partner who, I would say wasn't the best business partner. And there were issues there that we didn't really discuss, but there were issues there that I was like, this is not working. This doesn't even make any sense. Like, how the hell am I doing this?
What do you mean by that? About the relationship or financially or?
Everything, again, there's so many different levels. I think when you have a business, you wear so many hats, there's so many facets to a business. And then when you introduce a business partner, because this business partner came on, not at the beginning, it came on, when you introduce a business partner at that stage and you give up a certain amount of equity after what you've already built, knowing what I know now, it was a big mistake.
How much did you give equity?
40%.
40% to someone you've never met?
No, I knew this person, but I didn't know them. Does that make sense? Yeah. They talked a good game, so knowing what I know now, that would never happen. That would even cross my mind. So there was stuff going on there. So we then flipped to this. For me, it's like, oh yeah, we're leveling up here. You know what I mean? And not only that, I could kind of see myself moving away from that business model. I was like, this is what I like. This is what I like. This is what I want to do.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because off camera you were talking about you're 6'4" black
Yeah.
guy. Wherever you go, there's a presence. You're a presence,
Yeah.
right? Here are two celebrities,
Yeah.
black,
And we're
Right.
pretty much the same height.
same height,
Yeah.
but it's also the food. You're used to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If it was a white wedding
Yeah.
with white celebrities, do you
Yeah.
think you would have been as cool?
That's a great question. At the time, probably not. There
What-
probably would have been some resistance there.
Because there's not a lot of chefs like you in this space.
No, there aren't. Well, there are more now. Back then there weren't. There definitely would have been some resistance. I think perhaps on the food offering, the type of food offering that I was, that I do, it's West African based. Just that on the flavor profile, the palate, texture, everything is completely different from modern European. So there probably would have been some resistance in that. However, I would have found a way to, weave that into it because that's what I do.
But going in there is,
Yeah,
I guess, because I know being a brown guy,
yeah,
when I was younger, I would aware that
yeah, absolutely.
I'm walking into something.
Yeah, you're that.
And then that affects everything. And me and my business partner,
Yeah,
when we were deep in the photography game, would go and do talks at events, the photography show,
yeah,
the Association of Photographers, and everyone's white, man. There's
Yeah,
three
yeah.
brown boys on stage.
yeah,
And I know the guy probably meant it as a compliment, but one of the guys who's quite senior in one of the associations said,
yeah.
"You guys are like the Indian Ant and Dec."
Nah, just no.
Right?
Nah, what do you mean?
That's like,
He said that.
that's like, okay.
What are you supposed to say to
What
that?
do we say to
What do you say to that?
the Indian Ant and Dec? What's that? Are we here to make you laugh? Or
It's like, okay, so what? Does that make us
yeah.
palatable now? Does
Yeah.
it? Yeah. I get what you're saying. There's definitely that nuance. I think we do come with a preconceived in our heads. We have a preconceived idea of how people view us, especially people who are not black and brown. Right? And let's keep it real. It comes from a valid place, right? I think now I'm becoming more. I don't give a shit about that. I'm just me. Take it or leave it.
And how have you got to that space?
I think a lot of trial and error, and a lot of going back to the foundation of who you are, your culture, your roots, your tradition. You can't hide from that. And it's not about trying to hide from it. This is who I am. I'm 6'4". Me trying to cower and not be who I am, not tower, I'm doing myself a disservice. How dare I walk into this room and try and shrink myself because to make you feel good or to make you feel valid or make you feel important, that's bullshit. Going back to who you are, your essence and where you come from, man, I tell you, you can't pay me to do that. That I'll forever scream from the rooftops. I'm proud Nigerian. I'm a 6'4" black man with dreads. And I always say this, if I died and come back, make me blacker. Yeah, that's my thing. I love being black. I love being this man. I love being in this body. I love being in this form. I love having this voice. That comes with self-love. It comes with leveling up. It comes with validation. It comes with your culture. It's all intrinsic, man. It's all intrinsic.
You said something there interesting.
Yeah.
You said comes with self-love and it comes with validation.
Mm.
Are they two different things?
They are two different things, but they do overlap. They
So
definitely
talk to me
overlap.
about your self-love.
I think my self-love is definitely grown from that kid, from that 15-year-old. I think when you fortunate enough to get to this age and you have enough life experience behind you now to look at things objectively or subjectively, to look at things and say, oh, I now understand that. Now I understand why I was going through that, or, oh, shit, like that boy just needed a hug. Do you know what I mean? And I think I'm now easy on myself. That's where the self-love comes in, because yes, I have high expectations of me and what I do, but then a lot of that was thrust upon me as well, because being the only man, being academic, you're expected to just have certain things about you, parts of your personality are supposed to become already polished. right? And I walked with that. Learning to let all of that go and just be who the fuck you are is the best form of self-love. Yeah, I'm the sum of all parts. I might be some of that, but there's more, there's so much more. And it's incredible. It's like, you know, when you cut into an onion, there's so many different layers to it, right? There's so much more than just the outside of what it presents, right? And I think getting older, having the life experience, you get to love all of it. You get to a point where you're like, I like the part where I was confused. I like that person now. I can give that boy a hug. You know what I mean? He didn't know any better. He didn't know what that meant at the time when his dad died or he was going through that. He didn't know what that meant. Now I do. That's where that's self-love. And watching yourself in these rooms, watching yourself get to a part of your life where you are walking into these rooms and people are calling your name and they want you to be in these rooms, and you know, that's the validation part. So like I said to you, it overlaps.
When you walk into a room
Yeah.
with a name like King,
Yeah. It's got some weight on it. I will say that, especially now as well. I think people do have an expectation, you know, like King, man. First of all, it's like, who the fuck does he think he is? Like, obviously I didn't call myself King. Do you know what I mean? That's the name my dad gave me, and I thank God that he gave me that name because I love it now. I used to hate it. Can you imagine I used to hate that? I fucking love it now.
names hold weight, don't it?
Big time. Names hold weight. And I tell you, this name that was bestowed upon me, I'm so happy. I'm so glad I got this name. And I try my best to walk into every room with that, shoulders back, head straight, confident, you know what I mean? And just self-assured. And I think, yeah, it does have gravitas when you walk into a room. And there's an expectation as well, you know, but I can't be anything but me. This is what I get. This is what I present. I'm me. This is all I know how to be. I can't be anything else. I don't know how to be anything else. This is what you get. This is King.
Do you ever think back and think, my dad gave me this name King,
Powerful.
but then he also passed early. And so I had to grow into this
Yeah.
I was given this crown young.
Yeah. And heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah. Have you reflected like that?
Do you know, I've never looked at it like that.
Because my name, Naroop,
Yeah.
my dad made the name up.
Right.
And in Sanskrit and in Punjabi, Naroop means man's look, man's form.
Okay.
And then when you think about the work that I do now within the men's space, it's like, that's crazy how I'm trying to lead men into improvements, self-improvements.
Right.
And I name it.
The name's your namesake.
And I'm like, yeah, my dad gave it a name.
A namesake. It's powerful, right?
And then you think back and think, wow, it's something quite nice about being given that.
It's a gift. It's a real gift. And I think, you know, my dad, the story is, the reason why I was given his name was my dad had all girls. And then when his son came along, he wanted to bestow this name and crown him King. So here I am. And that's the name I've been given. And, you know, I love it, honestly. But yeah, I never thought about it like that before.
Yeah.
Given that name, powerful name, my dad's passed at a young age, and then you have to grow into it. Yeah, and I guess I was trying to do that to some degree without being conscious of it. Yeah, that's powerful.
So your work with Idris and all the stuff that you're doing now is fascinating, and I want to tap back into that shortly. But one thing you were talking about, again, off camera, so many great conversations happened before we hit record.
Yeah, it's the warm up, man. It's the warm up. Yeah.
Was you finding yourself through astrology? Is that something you'd like? I'd like to dive into that. With you, because it's
okay.
Men don't usually talk about this, but I'm really fascinated by what you've learned about yourself through it.
And this is something I've delved into recently, and I'm glad that you asked that question, because you're right. A lot of men don't talk about astrology. And look, I think a lot of people get astrology misconstrued. They think it's about the star signs and, you know, different star signs have different qualities. There is some truth to that, but then the majority of it is bullshit. Astrology, in terms of the astrology that we're talking about, is the time that you were born. Yes, the month you were born, but specifically the time you were born, and the houses in which align the time you were born and what your what is it, moon, what is it,
Yeah, moon sign,
moon sign,
rising, sun sign.
sun sign, rising, right, where all of that is positioned at the time you were born is honestly incredible. Like when I delved into it and I found out some things, I was like, okay, well, this shit makes sense now. All of this makes sense.
Why did you want to find out more about yourself?
I think, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier on about validation, all right? This journey so far has been incredible and long may it last. In fact, I think I'm just getting warmed up. I'm going to be honest with you, right? What I wanted to know was, am I on the right path? Even though I know things have happened, great things, and some not so great things have happened. Is this the right path? And just a little nod, just like, yeah, you good, you good. Just keep going. That's all I wanted to know. Now, with astrology, what it does do is it gives you a perspective, almost a blueprint of what you've already achieved, what you already are, and what you've brought into this life, right? It just made sense. When I got the chart, when it was explained to me and going through everything, it's like, of course, this all makes sense now. So I was like, I got the validation I needed. I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, that's the best way for me to describe it, I think. It's not all about the star signs and oh, you got this trait, you've got that trait. No, it's more about, it's quite precise in terms of the time that you're born, where the moon is at that time, where the sun is, because you have past lives as well, and there is stuff that you carry into this life from your past life. There are traits that you carry, and it might be the reason why you might be bossy, or you might be super organized, or you might be OCD in this area. Those are some traits that you probably have had in past lives. Now, with astrology, it mind maps everything for you and positions everything, so you can say, have a look at this, and then there are choices in which direction you want to take this, right? You can look at this and say, okay, do I want to let that go? Because there are things that we have in our chart that don't serve us.
Yeah.
There's stuff there that's just, it's old stuff. Clear out.
What has there been in your life that you think hasn't served you? Because I think all men carry stuff that
I think
we don't let go of.
No, you're right. I think for me, a lot of it is emotional baggage. Just from being, growing up, stuff that is compound. And you don't need it. It's baggage. You just let it go. You don't need it. And I think I have a Taurus. What is it? Taurus moon, right? Which we were talking about makes you quite emotional. What else is it?
Same as me. Emotional.
Right.
Yeah, emotionally stable,
but empathetic, right? And my empathy was on 100. Like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, maybe not. Fuck all that now. Excuse me. I say that with with experience. There are things that I am changing. Now I know, the alignment of where things are, that I don't need. I'm not saying I don't need to be empathetic, but I'm saying I don't need to be 100% empathetic all the time. That I can pull back on that. I don't always need to be in control. One of the things that came up was perhaps in one of my past lives, the job I had was like a general or very organized, and I'm super organized. Ask anyone who knows me. Everything's got a place. It's organized. Like, I don't leave any stone unturned. And part of that, perhaps in this life, is to probably let go of some of that. Because yes, as much as I am organized, it takes a lot. It's a lot of brain work you've got to put into that. And you can't let up. Because once you're given that, once that's bestowed upon you, it's here, you're on that pedestal. And then you put yourself on the pedestal and, I can't fail in that area. And it's just like, well, it's not that deep. This is not that deep. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, be organized, but you can let some shit go. So I think for me, that's what I kind of took from this, is certain things you can just relinquish.
And how does that serve you now in the position that you are? Because when I was told about you,
Yeah.
the first thing I was told is, his Idris Elba's private chef, and I was
Right.
like, amazing.
Yeah.
But that's what he is. Who is he?
Right, exactly. I'm
You know?
so glad you said that.
And it's like, okay, so how can, and like you said before off camera, you want to inspire people
Yeah.
through this, inspire them to chase their dreams,
Yeah.
to follow what they need to do.
Yeah.
What is it? What do you think stops people from doing that, especially men? Like, what is it that?
I think it's a great question. I think a lot of the stuff that stops men from being emotionally mature and getting through these emotions, it's not even their stuff to begin with. It's stuff that's been thrust upon them by society, by their peers, by the culture, by tradition. You're a man, you're supposed to this, that. You can't be seen to have emotion. You can't be seen to cry. You can't be seen to show that. Fucking bullshit. The quicker you get through that is the quicker you get to the best parts of your life, right? How incredible is it to be vulnerable? That's strength, as far as I'm concerned. When you are vulnerable, it unlocks a level of strength that not a lot of people have because they don't want to be vulnerable, and men are not supposed to be seen as vulnerable. And I think that's detrimental, man.
How would you explain that to someone who would never open up? Because I don't actively try to do this, but I can't help. My mind does it. Is whenever I'm in a public setting and I see men, and we run men's groups and events, so I'm around men a lot. I look at someone, I think, I wonder if that guy would be vulnerable and open up about his life. Does he look like the type of man
Got you.
that would do it?
Yeah.
Like his
presence, yeah.
Would he?
Yeah.
Would he do it? Why would he not do it? And I do that just maybe I'm analyzing, maybe it's like market research or whatever it might be, just trying to understand what is it.
I'm trying to relate.
Yeah. What is it that stops one man from opening his mouth and saying, oh, I ain't doing it? Because
Pressure, man. It's pressure. It's pressure.
But isn't there a lot of it self-pressure? Isn't there a lot of it? It's like, if I open up about this,
if I open Pandora's
I don't know
box,
what I've put down in this job.
But it's fear as well. A lot of it is fear. It's fear of the unknown. And I think, look, we're human and we do fear the unknown. Once again, I'm just going to speak off the cusp here. Once you unlock fear, it's limitless after that, man. Once you unlock that fear, and it's hard, I'm not by, trying to downplay it by any stretch of my imagination. Unlocking fear is hard. Do the hard things, man. Do the stuff that scares you. Do the stuff that you're thinking, fuck, I could never do that. Do it, because what comes after that is...
Yeah, and I love your attitude because like even the events you're doing now, you just do it. I'm just gonna do it. I'll do it.
Do it.
Right?
It scares me. Do it.
And
even more so if it scares me.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's the approach we've taken, is we're just gonna get it done. Do it.
Get it done.
Because once you've done it once, it's
got
the confidence. I could do it. I've done that.
You've risen the bar on yourself. You've given yourself permission to be vulnerable, to release that emotion that you had, release that fear, because then now you can go on and be fearful about something else and then unlock that level. And then after that, you unlock that level. And I call that's my definition of imposter syndrome. People say, oh, imposter syndrome is, do I deserve this? You've just not done that yet. That's how I look at it. You've just not done that thing yet. But once you've done that, guess what? There'll be something else you've not done yet. Then after that, there'll be something else you've not done yet. And that's your imposter syndrome, because you've just not reached that level yet. But once you do, there's another level. Then once you do that, there's another level. So imagine you didn't start that journey. Imagine you didn't start that. You're just sitting here, wafting below consciousness, unevolved, just sitting there in a cesspit of bullshit. Who wants that? Yeah, it takes a lot to even start that intention, because it's an avalanche, when it starts. But the minute you start it, my God, what opens up for you is incredible. And that's why I think it is, going back to your question, fear. It's unlocking that. Once you can unlock that fear, geez, life is limitless, man. It really is. It's limitless. Just do the stuff that scares you. Do it anyway. Feel the fear, do it anyway. There's a book, Susan Jeffers. Do it anyway.
How do you, as a chef, deal with feedback and stuff on your food? I know it's always been good, but I do look.
Not all the time.
I do look at like
Yeah.
when you look at Gordon Ramsay shows or any of these
Yeah.
celebrity shows,
Yeah.
and they're getting told off and
Yeah.
tasting the food, and you're like, if I just put out one bad dish, or if I did one of my pop-ups, one of my events, I didn't get a good review.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that doesn't knock everything that you built?
So what you just described there is ego. Okay. You can't do this. You could do anything creative if you have an ego, right? Okay. Ego gets you to a certain part, but then you've got to abandon it.
Give me your definition of ego.
Okay. Just exactly what I said. Ego comes with a certain level of confidence and competence. Okay. Ego will get you in a room. Who you are will keep you in that room. Once you get past the ego and you relinquish that, it can serve you to a certain degree, because it's not all bad. Ego is not all bad. It will serve you to a certain degree, but you got to let it go. You cannot go into a creative space with ego, because everything you're going to take personally. Every single thing you're going to nitpick and tear apart, but that's your ego doing it, and it's damaging, really damaging. So as far as I'm concerned, you can't do this and have an ego. The ego that doesn't serve you. You've got to get to a point of confidence, quiet confidence, where every dish might not be a masterpiece, but I'm okay with that. You know, I get an opportunity to do this again, right? And feedback is essential, because if something tastes like shit and no one's told me, guess what I'm going to go and do? I'm going to make that again, right? I'm going to go and do the same thing again, because I'm thinking you liked it. You've told me, oh, it's incredible, but it tastes like shit. So how do I learn from that? How do I evolve from that? So I relish in constructive feedback. I'm talking about constructive feedback, not when the point where people just want to be nasty, and that I have no time for.
Because there's a lot of pressure. I think we were talking about this on the phone, working with celebrity clients, cooking their food, even their entourage. You can walk into a space. And I felt it when we've done our celebrity work. You're like, energy's tight. There's a lot of ego here.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people who think they're important. And I've got to hold my own.
You have to
feed these people. And they got to find it tasty. There's nerves. How do you prepare yourself for that situation?
Do you know what? The only thing you can prepare is yourself. You can only be you, right? And let me just say, people buy into who you are first before they've even tasted your food. If you can win someone over with your personality, just who you are as you present, the food will taste a million times better. It's as simple as that. Don't get me wrong, your food has to be the shit at the same time. But what I'm saying to you is, it's not all about the food. It's about who you are as a person. Do they believe you? Do they believe that you're worthy of cooking this food? Do they believe this food that's come from you? Because, well, if your confidence is like on the floor, well, how does he cook? This can't be him. There's got to be someone else. There's got to be someone else.
Is that down to presentation, delivery, taste?
It's down to energy. It's down to all the above, but it's down to energy first. It's how you move, how you navigate through these rooms.
So what's your process? If you're walking into a room with a new celebrity and he's got 15 people in a room, and there's ego and there's this bravado and there's this all this stuff, and you're coming in, what do you say?
I don't match it. I just be me. One thing I don't do is match who you are. I can only ever be me at any given time. So that's always what I'm going to do. Everyone else is taken, so I can't be anyone else, right? Don't match it. Just be you. Hey, how you doing? Lovely to meet you. Great. Here's what I prepared. I would have had the dietaries already. I would have had the rider. I would have had whatever the request is. Oh, I heard this was your favorite. I've made this, or blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, cool. And then try this. Have you tried this before? No. Why don't you try some of this? And before you know it, okay, shit, what can you do? We can do that. We'll do that next time. We can do that. I can figure that out now. Before you know it, it's camaraderie, man. So it's all about who you are as a person. Yeah, that comes first. That's
really interesting, because when we were digging up in the photography game and we had to shoot a celebrity, sometimes we had 30 minutes to shoot someone for like a magazine cover. But our way of disarming them is always making them laugh.
There you go.
Make her laugh. Not taking ourselves too
be
serious.
Relatable. Yeah.
Because you hear about all these photographers who've got this ego and attitude.
Don't work.
Where's the comments are trying to make you laugh?
Leave her at the door.
Yeah. And it always worked.
Yeah, it does. Because think about it. They're the talent, right? They're expected to behave a certain way. It's their show, right? And then people are coming for them. They're up there already, okay? They don't want someone else walking into the room who's got bravado and is, bigging up their chest and all this other bullshit, because then it takes the light away from them. Not to say that's what happens, but don't match it. Just be you. People naturally will gravitate towards that. Good people will naturally gravitate towards and see through all the bullshit. Yes, there are a myriad of celebrities that I've cooked for, and then, you can see who these people are. But 9 times out of 10, they just want you to be you. They don't want all the extra bullshit and the bravado and this, that, and the other. They don't want all that. They dig you. You know what I'm saying to you? They look at you and be like, oh, you're a cool person. Yeah, I want you around again. Yeah, call that guy again. Yeah, he was cool. Because you're just you.
What do you think most people misunderstand about you?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked that question, because I used to get, people used to call me arrogant.
Call you?
Arrogant. And I think there's a really...
I don't see that, by the way, at all.
Thank you. And I appreciate you saying that. I think there's a really distinct line between arrogance and confidence. Arrogance is, oh, look at me, all this bullshit, right? And you come in with chest and, all that. Who's got time for that? Quiet confidence is walking into a room knowing who you are without even opening your mouth. And people get it. You can be in that room and be a presence without even opening your mouth, but being quietly confident. That speaks volumes. That's a myth I hope to dispel. Although I don't really get that anymore. I used to get that a lot. Yeah.
It's important in what you do to have that quiet confidence.
You have to, because you can't navigate in these spaces if you don't. If you're going to go in there, like I said, loud of the bro, nobody wants you around. Nobody wants that.
Do you think you would have built that sense of quiet confidence if you didn't have these ups and downs of your career, like the business partner who tried to do you wrong and your business closed, all the other kind of setbacks you've had? Was your confidence built through riding the wave of life?
Absolutely. I think all of that is compound and attributed to who I am today. I don't think, had my family been through what we went through at a young age and moved to all these different houses, my dad dying, going through, the part where me and my mum were 100%, having conflict in the family, and then dropping out of uni, going to the underground and doing all these things, they shape you. And I don't think, had I not experienced those things, it would have fashioned me to being quietly confident now. I've got a story to tell, actually. This is such a good story. I'm so glad we touched on this now. So the story where I cooked, I was asked the first job I did for Idris, he called me back. It was a writer's camp and it was a week-long project. And it was Slick Rick and there was a few other producers there. And at the end of that week, it was a Friday, and I was sitting in the living room, finished everything, it was a great week, everything was great. I was sitting in the living room, there was 4 of us in the room. It was myself, it was Idris, Slick Rick, and his wife.
Slick Rick is a rapper.
Slick Rick is a rapper. He's actually a UK rapper, but he's resides in the States. But a credible rapper, old school rapper, one of the pioneers of hip hop. So pick up yourself, Slick Rick. Lovely guy, by the way, and his wife, absolutely stellar. I remember sitting in that room thinking, how the fuck did I get in here? I was at the back of this room, right? I remember sitting there and I was like, I shouldn't be in this room. This is weird. Like, I feel out of place. Idris is back there. He was getting ready for a gig. He's a DJ. He's had his headphones on. He's doing something on his laptop. And Slick Rick and his wife are just sitting on the sofa, just, having a drink. And I'm just sitting in this room and I'm just like, how the fuck did I get here? Like, it was an out of body experience, right? And I remember sitting in this room just thinking to myself, I don't deserve to be here. I shouldn't be here. Like, how the hell did I end up in this room? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Why did you feel you didn't deserve to be in that room?
I had imposter syndrome. Remember I said to you earlier on, imposter syndrome is something you've never done before. So you were like, it's foreign to me. But once you've done it, you then level up. Because then after that, I was like, yeah, of course. There is a reason why you're here, because you work your ass off and you were asked to come here because on your merit and what you've done. So yes, you deserve to be in this room. And then after that, there was more rooms, bigger rooms, So for me, that was just the first level, one of the first levels of the imposter syndrome experiences.
Looking back at the young 15-year-old who had to shovel the dirt on his dad's coffin, as we come to a close of this conversation, there's two questions. One is, did you ever feel like you became the man of the house that they said you needed to be? And two, what do you think your dad would think of you if he was here, if he saw what you're doing now?
Powerful questions. Did I
do you feel you became the man?
feel I became the man of the house? To this day, I still don't know what that means. I can be honest with you. To this day, what does that even look like? What does the man of the house look like?
Has your family leaned, because 4 sisters and a mum, have they leaned on you to be a male figure?
To a certain degree, yeah. To a certain degree. My mum never remarried or anything, so I am the guy. You know what I mean? So she does come to me for, oh, King, can you know? But that's mum, so that goes without saying. I'm gonna do when I can. I'm gonna do. Sisters alike, they need something. If I can do it, yeah, and two of them are married. If I can do it, yeah, of course I'll do it. So yes, essentially, in essence, yes, you do become the man of the house by default. But what does that look like? I mean, is there a picture of what that looks like? I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I really don't know. And your second question was, what would my dad think of me? What do I think my dad would think of me? I think he would be like, I gave you that name. Yeah, you did that. Yeah. That's what I hope he'd think. I think he'd be proud of me.
So now you're focusing on your supper clubs. You got your supper clubs, you got your events,
Yeah.
like Smoke and Soul.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So, in addition to the private class that I have, I, have built, I've built a collective now, and again, it's my namesake, which is Amaike, but I call it Amakaye, just, gentrify it, whatever you want to call it. Which means remember home. My dad also gave me that name as well. It means remember home. So I've called this part of my business that. So under that umbrella, I've built Smoke and Soul, which is a fire-led event, chef event, where I, at the helm of the barbecue, it's day party vibes. We have a DJ, we have cocktails, we have brand partners, and it's a celebration of just wherever you're at in life. That's just community who come together. We have a good time. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just vibes, And then I do supper clubs as well, where it's a shared table experience. I curate a menu, curate a menu, and then we break bread together, and just again have a communal dining experience, elevated dining experience. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now. I really enjoy it because, as much as I enjoy the private clients that I, still work with and still do, this is the fun part of it. Not that the private stuff isn't fun, but that's more regimented. I have fun with the supper clubs and the Smoke and Soul. That's more, we can go over there and just chill out. Do you know what I mean? So I like the balance between the two. So we're growing that right now, and it's incredible, I have to say. Like, I'm super proud of it, super proud of the team that I have, team of chefs, and everyone that Randy's behind me. Is incredible.
Would you see this, or do you see this as the start of like some global empire? Do you want it to be like what I'm going to say Gordon Ramsay has done, or do you see it as being more community, more curated, more?
I mean, look, who doesn't want it to be successful, right? Who doesn't want a successful business? I'd be lying if I said, oh, I don't want it to be, as big as it can get. Absolutely. It's starting as a community-based initiative, which I love, and I'm always going to be. That's my remember home. That's my I return to home. It's always going to be like that. But absolutely, I'd love it to grow. Because I don't just see it being London-based. I see it being based in Nigeria. I see it being based in Miami, or based in New York, or Dubai, or wherever we go. It's a following, and we can just drop it here, do our thing, get out and go to the next one. That's how I see it.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
You got big vision. I think
I do.
I can see you doing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And it's exciting. I think this chapter, I coined a phrase, I call it my turn. Yeah, this chapter's my turn.
I love that.
Yeah.
You said you want to retire at 50.
Yeah.
You're 44 now, right?
I'm gonna be 44, yeah. This birthday coming.
50's young, man. You got a lot of life after that.
Well, I'm not saying, yeah, that's the point. That's my point. Like, I want to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Would you not want to cook for her?
When I say retire, I don't mean stop everything.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I can just take a step back and just enjoy the fruits of my labor, and delve into what I want to do. You know, when I say retire, I don't mean completely switch off. I mean, I want to go and do that. I want to do that. I want to be able to have the option to say, I can pick and choose what I want to do. That's what I mean.
Is 6 years enough for you to get there?
I think so. I think that's decent. God willing, if we get it. So I'll take it. We get it. Yeah, I'll take it.
And what does life look like after that for you?
Peace, man. Sun, by the water, and quiet. Be still. Yeah. Yeah.
From a quite chaotic life.
Because it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I keep saying that because it's a lot, and the stuff that comes with, orchestrating business. A lot of people don't see it. The stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Oh my God, I'm pulling at my thread sometimes. People don't see all that. They see the end product. They see it, the gloss, the high gloss finish, and it's great when it gets to that part because that's what you want, But the stuff that comes with it, the emotional side, the financial side, the know-how, or you're trying to figure it out. You don't know everything. I'm still trying to figure stuff out, and sometimes you stumble, which is okay because that's when you learn. You fail quicker, so you learn. And it's the sum of all parts, But above all, I'm proud of it. Super proud of it. Yeah.
Well, look, man, it's been a great conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I like that we touched on different parts.
Yeah.
I want to understand the man beneath it all.
Yeah.
And also how you built from the childhood that you have and what that taught you, I think was really important.
Definitely, I agree.
And I think people will leave this conversation feeling inspired.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
Naruk, my pleasure.
Nice one, brother.
Appreciate you, man.